What's up, my people, again? We're back with another toy review. This time it is going to be of Overkill Series 1, the original, the one that kind of started it all. The reason why I'm going to do a review of this one is, if you guys had Spawn figures back in the 90s, of course it came out in 1994. This was one of the figures that I had growing up, and he was one of my my Spawn, huge Spawn haul that I had. And you know what? I really want to open this guy up and just to have him, just to be able to hold him in my hands again, bring me back to my childhood years. And I'm really anxious to get into this package. Looking at this guy, of course, there's not going to be any articulation whatsoever. Not even in the waist. It's going to be two legs moving up and down as well as the arms. And, oh yeah, the head pops off. It's supposed to shoot at you. It's a projectile, I guess. But, yeah, I really want to open this guy up. I really want to get him in my hands. And we'll take it from there, and we can relive this moment together. If you guys ever had Spawn figures growing up, or action figures, that you had in your collection growing up. Lord knows I had tons and tons and tons of action figures growing up, and unfortunately I sold them all when I was probably about 19 at a flea market, and I sold them for dirt cheap. And I had a lot of expensive action figures, and I regret it till this day. And he was one of those action figures. So let me put this right here so you guys can watch me. Get out my trusty scissors right here, because with these Spawn packages, they're really hard to break open. Actually, yeah, they are. I'm trying to remember how, or trying to figure out an easy way to get in here. I guess this would be an easy way to get in here. I don't know. Let me see. If not, I'm just gonna cut this baby open. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut him open. I can't remember how I got into him back in the day, but yeah. And one thing about these Spawn figures and these packages, sorry about that. They are pretty well packed in here. If a nuclear, holocaust happened tomorrow, would be left cockroaches and Spawn figures. Let's pop this guy out. I'm anxious to get him out of here. I'm anxious to free you. Wow. And you can smell that plastic too. That encapsulated plastic that's been in the box over 20 years. This was what, 1994? We'll look at the comic book first. Nothing really to see. This came with all 1994 Spawn action figures. Series 1. I think they were all Series 1. Look at that picture. That's an awesome picture of Overkill. That's pretty cool. You know what? I would love to do something with this picture, laminate it or frame it or something. Just because, oh, look at that picture. That is cool. Yeah, there's one thing about, the Spawn artist. I don't know who the Spawn artist is. I don't want to look through here and, oh, here we go. Here's the artist. I don't know, maybe not. Color, Overkill Story, inks. Tim Townsend is the inks. So I'm guessing he would be the artist of these comic books. And yeah, he was an amazingly talented artist. Look at that. Look how beautiful. I mean, even over 20 years old, I mean, these images are just absolutely beautiful. I don't want to spend too much time on the comic book, but yeah, the images in here are awesome. Yeah, I would love to look at that Overkill. I have the newer Overkill who looks exactly like this guy. This one right here, not so much because it's a 90s toy. with the newer one. I'll do a comparison at the end of the video to the newer one, and the newer one just kind of blows it out of the water. The clown. I mean, yeah, the artist, who was it? Who was it again? Tim Townsend? Yeah. Amazing artist. I might have to do something about framing, you know, some of these pictures, and or maybe laminating them, because they're just beautiful pieces of art. All right, now let's get to the figure. Let's get to Overtkill, and this baby is freaking heavy, and he does have twisty ties on him. I'm not gonna cut him because I'm just gonna go ahead and untwist him. What's the point, you know? Go ahead and untwist this baby. Untwist it. Bear with me. And let's see if I can get him out. Wow, he is really in there. Oh, his head popped out already. Holy shit. Yeah, and this guy is heavy. This guy is like, he's not like Marvel Select Juggernaut heavy. But yeah, here's this thing, parking meter that he had. I remember this parking meter. Look at this. Boy, this brings back some memories. Yeah, and zero articulation. Let's see if his head will stay. And his head doesn't even stay. Oh, that sucks. No, his head ain't gonna stay. But yeah, wow. Yeah, if this doesn't scream 90s, I don't know what does. But yeah, this is one heavy, durable piece of plastic. It is quite heavy too. Did I mention that? And it looks like, being that he's an older figure, it looks like his leg right here is a little loose. It might pop off. Looks like it's a little wobbly. It might pop. Actually, both of these legs look like they're a little wobbly. You know, I've watched other YouTube videos where they say, well, you know, Spawn action figures were cheaply made, and you know, their legs and arms pop off, and it has happened to me. I don't know if it's the Spawn figures itself, or being that this guy is over 20 years old, and he's been in the box and has never been played with. So I kind of expect that more than, you know, them being cheaply made. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, all action figures, really, most action figures are cheaply made. But this is this guy, Overtkill. Let me get this out the way, and let me do my comparison of the Overtkill. What series is this? Series 20. And you guys know this one. You guys seen a review of this one. And I was able, if you guys seen my review of the other Overtkill, I did a review of him and the Desiccator. Yes, I said his name correctly. I was calling the Desiccator. But yeah, I did a video review of Overtkill and Desiccator. And if you guys watched that video, you would notice that the his shoulder pad, fell off. So I decided to glue it, and now it's not going anywhere. It's pretty much on there. But here is the comparison. Look at that. What a comparison. What a transition, you know. These guys are. Wow. I mean, they don't even... Well, yeah, they don't even look like the same character. You can tell this one, you know, McFarlane, you know, was... You know, even though this action figure is still cool, you know, McFarlane was still trying to find his footing as far as, you know, toys and sculpture and design and coloring. And, you know, to bring you this guy right here. This guy was, let me see, let me look at the box. Let me find out what year this guy was. Let's see, he was from 2001? Was it 2001? Yeah, yep. This guy is 2001 compared to the 1994. So you guys can do the math. I'm not going to do the math. I'm not that smart. But, well, you know, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, what, 8 years? I mean, yeah, that's a hell of a progression. Let me set this down right here. I mean, that's a hell of a progression from 1994, from this to this. I mean, that's yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, but you know, this figure, you know, is nostalgic. You know, it brings back a lot of memories. You know, from my childhood. You know, I remember playing, you know, with this guy a lot when I was younger. Um, yeah, to hold him in my hands again is pretty cool. You know, it brings back a lot of memories. Um, but you know, there's nothing to him. You know, like I said, there's no. I'm not going to go through the articulation because, well, this is what he can do as far as articulation. Boom, 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 and boom, and boom. His head. He lost his head. He saw the new overkill and he lost his head. Who do you think will win in a battle? You know, oddly enough, you know, being that this guy is much bigger than this guy, he feels like he's the same weight. Like this guy is just as heavy as this guy because this guy right here is like pure, like thick, full, you know, plastic. I don't know how they make it. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. Plastic mold injected kind of figure. And this guy, you know, you think he'd be more heavier than this guy, but there's hollow points in here. He's just not one big chunk of plastic. There's actually hollow points in his arms and his chest and his legs. So he's actually pretty light. You think he'd be heavy. I mean, he is heavy, but he's not, you know, heavy to a point where, oh, you're like struggling to pick him up, or he's heavy like the Juggernaut, Marvel Select Juggernaut. I think Marvel Select Juggernaut is actually heavier than this guy right here. But this guy, like I said before, is just as heavy as this guy. 1994 against 2001. You get to stand in the background because this is not your video. This is 1994's Overtkill video right here. Yeah, but here you go, guys. You know, I wanted to, you know, take this guy out the package, and you know, he doesn't disappoint as far as nostalgic goes. And you know what? I like him. You know, he, like I said, brings back a lot of memories, and you know, he's not a bad looking figure. I mean, at the time, um, you know, at the time, you know, he'd probably get a 10. As of right now, you know what? Because you know he was such a big part of my childhood, I would have to give him maybe. I'll give him a 6.5, maybe 7. I mean, he deserves it. He got me through a lot of hard times in my childhood, and it's good to see him back in person. It's like meeting an old friend, and he looks good on camera too. I have to admit, he looks really good on camera. So in person, not so much, but on camera, yeah, he looks really good. But that is my review for Overkill 1994 Overkill Series 1. I'm already past the 13-minute mark. Time flies when you're rambling on, I guess. So you guys can go ahead, if you want, you guys can go ahead and follow me here on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Press the like button if you liked it. Leave a comment, you know, if this brought back some memories for you. Or in general, you know, if you've, you know, collected action figures and it brought back memories, you know, feel free to leave a comment and share some of your experiences. But my video is about to hit the 14-minute mark, and you know what that means. I gotta say bye-bye to all you beautiful ladies and gentlemen. And we are out. And I'll see you guys later. Check me out on Instagram, Jason Edward Laprise. Peace out.